We are back after a long absence to talk some. What have we been doing?
We've been fishing, I
Fishing.
think.
Well, I think we've been fishing. And we're not going to talk about that because I don't fish for salmon. We're going to do a whole series. We're going to have a lot of fun. Summer steelhead flies. The first series is going to be the summer steelhead boss fly. They were fishing these flies in Northern California back in the 30s. My goodness. Hooks weren't as nice, proportions weren't as exquisite as these are. Long tail, just a hint of crystal flash, tinsel rear body, chenille, heavens to Murgatroyd. People still tie with chenille. What do you know? Collar hackle. Disclaimer here, these flies should not ever be fished for salmon. Spring Chinook, fall Chinook, nope, don't do it. These are only summer steelhead flies. Do not ever add bead chain eyes and fish these for salmon. I will find out. So the series we're going to go through, we're going to do 9 separate flies. Each has a different color. Why would you ever do different colors? If you're following, you know, we're not up in Alaska where you have your own water every time. You're often following somebody else, or you're following yourself through a run. Show the fish a different color. Bright sun, reds and oranges, dark conditions, blacks, purples, blues. These fish love blue. You show them a color that they haven't seen before and it just might trigger a strike. And some of us just have preferences. We like different color combinations. So that's why we can have fun with each one of these flies. Throw a different color on there, but very similar profile, mix up the colors. We're going to do one of these summer steelhead boss flies. And we start with a bucktail that I have carefully pre-measured. I like to go about 5 millimeters for the tail, a couple of inches. The fish are going to be out there with their metric rulers, trust me, they're very particular about this. I just like a little hint, 3 strands of pearl crystal flash, about as long as the tail. We're going to throw on some Lagerton holographic mini flat braid for a body. And we're going to put just a touch. I may forget to do this sometimes, but just a touch. And I like to wind the first turn under the tail. Spin on that tinsel. Tie it off, and here comes plain old chenille. And I'm not bothering to, if I wanted to be really slim, I would pluck the fibers out of that chenille. But I actually like it nice and full here. And since I'm not going to put bead chain eyes on this fly, I'll tie it fairly far forward. Now this one is going to have, I think this is fluorescent orange. Tie it with fluorescent orange. By the way, I'm tying it in by the tip so that the longest hackle, we're just doing a review here. The longest hackle will be at the front of the fly. I'm folding that hackle. This is fluorescent orange. I also do it with a hot orange. This fly is not shy. Shows up very nicely. You can tie this fly on a $79.99. There's a whole series of really nice Daiichi steelhead hooks. I like Jackson hooks. This just happens to be a TMC 700. old style, like an Eagle Claw 1197B.
Stop it. Stop talking about those.
Stop talking about those.
Those are old.
They're old and they're dull, but they had a distinctive shape. There you go. This is the black and flow orange Steelhead Boss. I'm going to move right into one like this. I almost put it in the vise. Ah! We're going to have hooks all over the place here. Throw a hook in there. We're experimenting. It's been months and months since I have been doing any fly tying. So we're just going to have to test this.
It doesn't show, Jay. It doesn't show.
So, bucktail, 5 millimeters. Notice I have my little tape measure stickied right down to my tying surface there. Your tail and my carefully prepared crystal flash. It's really nice if you can to tie a number of these at the same time, because that way you have your materials at hand and you kind of get in a groove. So the last one had silver tinsel body and black chenille and a fluorescent orange collar hackle. This one might seem pretty similar, but it's going to look quite different in the water because it's going to have a red collar hackle. Now, people talk about red not being that great a color for flies because red kind of disappears, it washes out as you get in deeper water. But you're not going to be fishing for summer steelhead in water deep enough to make this red fade out. It's kind of funny, you know. Summer steelhead are going to see this red very nicely. And there's an old fly called a Royal Coachman bucktail that was reputed to work just fine for years and years and years, and that had red in it. So here you go. We're having fun here.
Red-winged blackbird.
Never heard of it. Never heard of a red-wing. So that's, you know, those of you who've been around for a while, red-winged blackbird, gold hook, black chenille body, red wing, no hackle. And on the Deschutes in summertime, that fly could be absolute killer. Don't see them around much anymore, but they still work just fine. So there you go. These first two in the series.